Hi, welcome. It's time for Unitarian Universalist of Zurich online service for today. I'm starting early because I want to get to a Unitarian Universalist service that's also going to be online, but I don't think it's going to be live on Facebook. That's happening just after mine, and it's from the UU of Morgantown, West Virginia. So I'm going to be joining that to see what good thoughts they have for the week. They're getting started again with their activities, and so I want to support them as much as possible. I am here in Switzerland. In fact, I'm in my vehicle parked in Switzerland, in my Picasso, and that river that you see in the background behind the tree is the Rhine River. And exactly on the opposite side of the Rhine River is Germany. That is how close Switzerland and Germany are and how they keep their border. So the Rhine River is the border between the two countries, and there are bridges that connect us to each other. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know I found this nice little park, and I thought maybe it would be nice to hold our Unitarian Universalist of Zurich online service right here. I'm near a town called what is it? I can't remember. Buchser-Lochocki. That's what it is. Look at that tree. And see the tree up here. Oh, look at those branches. It's beautiful. And the trees in the distance. So yeah. So we're near Buchser-Lochocki. And I just wanted to share that with you. And now, there, you see me in the mirror. Well, maybe we can do it this way. No, it's not going to work. No. I suppose I could do it that way. And then you get to see more outside. But no, we'll change the picture to me. And then you will see more me at the moment and a little bit of outside. So I'm going to try to turn you so you can see both. Oh, there. There we go. So I just want to say, too, I don't have my book with me, so I'm going to do my best to come up with some good things to say. This is a continuation of breaking free and loving ourselves. Breaking free and loving ourselves. It's important. We need to break free from a lot of our old beliefs, and it's the only way to really move forward as a species, because right now we got some of the species moving forward and the other ones not. And so we do need to work on this issue. Let me just see something. I think I'm going to be working in this service extra with this book, You Can Heal Your Life. Because, and it's by Louise Hay. And it's because I think she speaks a language that a lot of women can understand. And her work was instrumental in me overcoming a lot of things in my childhood and moving forward in my life. And it brought me a lot of growth and taught me that I have lots of potential. And I think a lot of women need that. So this service is especially about women and potential. welcome. This is a Unitarian Universalist service. It is a community of people who are of all faiths, and even the non-believers. People who are atheists, agnostic, all are welcome. So I welcome you here now with me. I played the Joni Mitchell Woodstock song before earlier, so don't forget to have a listen to that. I like her version. It's very poetic and musically interesting. She's the originator of the song, so that was her real intention. What other artists did with it was their interpretation, but her interpretation is what was intended and how she tells her stories. I love Joni Mitchell. I haven't always been a big Joni Mitchell fan, but since returning to the U.S., back in 21, I really became a fan. So, Joni, I love your work. Thank you. And this light is for all of us out there. All genders, all of us. Welcome. And I think maybe to get more into the feel of today, let's do some breathing now. And so take a deep breath in. Hold it for a count of 4. And then let it out. Again, in. Hold it for a count of 4. And then out. And one more time. In. Out. Okay. So, my purpose for today is to talk about sort of what is considered traditional or normal or in our instincts as females. Last time I talked about the male instinct. Sorry, there's a car driving around, so I'm just trying to see where they're going. Female instincts. And when we look at nature, female instincts are oftentimes actually not. We're like the second line of defense of the home. We're the nurturers and the teachers, the first teachers of the children. And we are sort of the heart or the anchor of the home life. When you look at birds, so supposedly Valentine's Day really is an ancient idea that was celebrated long before Saint Valentine. And it's the time when it was believed that the birds come together and start mating for the first time, February 14th. So this has been a historical day for a long time. And the concept is that birds, they mate and then they build a nest and then they have the eggs and then they have to keep the eggs warm. And then the eggs hatch and then there's teaching that goes on, training the next generation to survive in the world, right? So that's the role of mostly, well, I don't want to say mostly, because sometimes male birds hang out and help out too. But the majority of that work is done by the female, by the mother bird. I'm not sure what the male birds do. They go off and I don't know. What do male birds do? So the household is the nest, and the treasure in the household is the eggs. And then getting the children to grow up and go off on their own, right? Where they fly south for the winter and then they come back up and start mating and build that nest again. So this is what nature does. And I know human beings, especially because of religion, believe that we're not really part of the animal kingdom, but we are really part of the animal kingdom. We are no different. We have instincts too. So, with that said, I think I have a piece of paper of things that I wanted to cover during this discussion. So, I guess first I want to hold up this candle. It's time for joys and concerns and sorrows. And my joy is that I'm able to hold this service today with you and be in nature and be online and share just this space. So that's definitely a joy. And thank you for that. A concern I have is that we are moving forward in a direction I don't think we should entirely go. We've been pushed and prodded to go into this industrial mega corporation environment where we're neglecting nature. Now, I don't think the whole world is neglecting nature, but I think in the United States we really are. And we should not, in my opinion, do that. I think it's dangerous. To neglect and abuse nature is not healthy for anyone. So I think this is a candle of concern, and I'm working on a solution. I don't know what the solution is just yet, but I'm working on it. There is a solution out there. So, yeah, I'm going to put that down there for a second. Sadly, you can't see the candle. I don't think, could I turn it just a little bit? No, it's just not going to. I suppose I could put it back here. Can you see it now? Yeah. Hopefully it won't fall over. Okay, so now you have a little candle. And I've also some joys lately is I've made some decisions about my future, and I'm happy about them. You know, whenever you're trying to decide something and you don't know what you should do, and you toss the idea back and forth for so long, it's nice when decisions are finally made and then steps are taken forward towards that decision. So that's where I am. So I've recently, this week I made some big decisions and I'm very excited. I'm not going to say what they are, but it's very, very exciting. So I'm happy about that. Then and then yeah, one of the other joys that I have is that I have life. So, and life is a gift, and I'm grateful. So, this is the final candle for any joys or concerns that you might have that you want to say now in private that will be captured by this candle. So, womanly instincts and our animal womanly instincts. So, our animal womanly instincts are not entirely in line with our usual womanly instincts. So, women have been raised with the Old Testament, and Judaism is the Old Testament. And also, for a lot of you, I don't know if you know, but Islam follows the Old Testament too. So all the old stories of creation and, Adam and Eve and all of that is known in those three religions, and quite possibly other ones too, but those three for sure, the Abrahamic religions. And in those religions, women are supposed to be submissive. Men are the rulers, and women are supposed to do what men say. And not only that, but men have the right also to animals and to the earth and complete domain over everything. So these are the womanly instincts that a lot of women on the planet have been raised with. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are all over the planet. So it's not something we can walk away from. This is how we've been raised. We've been raised to trust in a God, and we've been raised to be submissive and abused. And these are man-made instincts. This is not what we see in nature. Nature is not about abusing the opposite sex. I don't normally see fights between a male and a female bird, especially if it's a male and female bird of the same species of bird. Men fight with men, women fight with women maybe, but usually there's not male against female. And normally the female is busy taking care of the family. The male, during the courtship and the early time of the family, is around, but then after that I don't know. But providing food and shelter is definitely part of the man's position. The woman's position if we look at nature and we look at birds, is to also provide food and to provide warmth and nurturing and encouragement and guidance and teaching. So womanly instincts from nature and womanly instincts from man-made beliefs are two different things. And I think it might be best for women to move towards the more animal instinct side than the man-made belief in the Old Testament. Because it is not helping. Sadly, we have a lot of people who are still believing that this is okay, this way of thinking, that it's okay that we are dominant over animals and nature and we can do what we want with it without regard to what the future holds. And this is not healthy. This is why we have dirty water. This is why we have overfishing. This is why we have pollution around us, is because the Bible says so. And I guess it's also the Quran says so. And I guess the Talmud says so, or whatever the Jewish book is called. So I think it's time to definitely break free from the man-made womanly instincts that have been forced upon us. So to break free from being submissive and allowing abuse. To break free from trusting in a God that doesn't answer. And to break free from being gullible. Start doubting things that others tell you. And see where your thoughts go. And see where their motivations might be coming from. Set limits and boundaries. It's important. Because if you don't, people who abuse don't have boundaries. So they will abuse even more. So be careful. Move or stay within your feminine identity. So your natural feminine identity, which is to be a nurturer and to be caring, but just set boundaries on that. If lots of people just, like for instance, ask for money, even though they don't need money. I don't know why they do that, but there are a lot of people who are doing that. So learn to have limits. Not everybody who says they're in need is in need. Then for our young ladies who are walking about on the streets of big cities and stuff like that, I know a lot of our role models for our young girls and even young men are in music videos and making music videos and in movies and in TV shows and all of this. And, when they're there, they put on makeup and they wear certain clothes and they do a performance that's videotaped and then shown on TV. It doesn't mean that they're walking around in those clothes. It means that they're trying to sell a product to you. And they want to interpret it in the way that they're interpreting it. So You also need to realize that a lot of these performers and famous people, they have bodyguards. So they can get away with wearing certain things or looking a certain way because they have protection. Or even saying things in public. They have protection. But for the rest of us, we don't have protection. So I highly recommend being careful with your choice of clothing when you leave your house. Know exactly how others might see you. And because we don't know whose path we're going to cross, it's always good to be prepared. And part of being prepared is to wear proper clothing. Now, I know that on certain streets, in certain neighborhoods, people congregating might be doing one thing. And then you go someplace else and they're doing something else. And then you go to a beach and people are in bikinis and, or even a nude beach, for example. The environment does make a difference where you are and how people see things. And since you can't control other people's thoughts, it's best to not present yourself in a certain situation that could make people have thoughts. It's the safest choice unless you have bodyguards. If you have bodyguards, then you have total freedom, right? But that is the reality we're in right now. Because we can't control other people's thoughts, but we can control how we present ourselves to other people. And so keep that in mind, that's important. So in nature, what I noticed is our as females, our main job is support, to reproduce, to teach, and be like a cheerleader, to encourage. That's part of nurturing. And these are great skills. And I don't think, as far as our human animal goes, that we need to change those whatsoever. We are not really the warring part of our species. We are the home. We are the safety net. We are the heart and the soul. That is our instinct. And know as a woman that is in you. I think the one thing that we might do that is part of our nature, perhaps, because the one thing about nature is that sometimes if a baby in nature, like to a bird, is born without a wing, what's going to happen to it? Is it going to get fed? Is it going to be nurtured like the other ones that have two wings? The answer is no, sadly. And this is the difference between human and animals. We are somewhat different in our instincts, where our nurturing is not just for humans, it's also for other creatures. And we see a purpose for a bird that can't fly because it's only got one wing. But the mother of that bird in bird nature does not see a future for a bird with only one wing. So, since we are not a bird, we can see other possibilities. And I think that is really where the separation between animal and human is, or animal and human nurturing, and it's a good one. We do have slightly more nurturing, or a nicer nurturing, than others, than other animals out there. So what we do that is similar to that is we don't always mind our own business as women. And we try to force what we think is correct on others. And this is actually not the best thing, because we all have a right to be here. And if we can survive outside of the womb, then we should be allowed to. And the grass is not always greener on the other side, so really the best thing to do is to let people be. You know, if they've only got one arm, they're not useless. We will still feed them and nurture them and help them grow. As humans, we are separate from the animal kingdom, where we do not do that to our own young. And we can, like I said, even find a purpose for a bird that only has one wing. And this is our speciality. This is not only a female trait, I will say. It's also a male trait. Men can tap into their nurturing feminine side too. And I highly recommend it. And I think as far as minding your own business goes, I think respect for differences is something that needs to be stressed, where I think we're failing sometimes, or some people are. So I think that is probably where we could do better. We could really respect each other better, understand and accept each other better. So I think that would be, like in the womanly instincts, a place where we could do some work perhaps and get better at. And that is basically what I really wanted to talk about. I want to read another one of this lady's. Wait, what was it? Page 13. Okay, page 13 in You Can Heal Your Life, in the part called What I Believe, it states, we can change our attitudes towards the past. The past is over and done. We cannot change that now. Yet, we can change our thoughts about the past. How foolish for us to punish ourselves in the present moment because someone hurt us in the long ago past. I often say to people who have deep resentment patterns, please begin to dissolve the resentment now, when it is relatively easy. Don't wait until you are under the threat of a surgeon's knife or on your deathbed, when you may have to deal with panic too. When we are in a state of panic, it is very difficult to focus our minds on the healing work. We have to take time to dissolve the fears first. If we choose to believe we are helpless victims, and that it's all hopeless, then the universe will support us in that belief. And we will just go down the drain. It is vital that we release these foolish, outmoded negative ideas and beliefs that do not support us and nourish us. Even our concept of God needs to be one that is for us, not against us. And this is so true. So that was a section from You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And that is what we're trying to do. Heal us all. So I think I'm about done. I'm going to do the last, it's time for my favorite motivational thought. And it's, I am only one. A quote or affirmation by Edward Everett Hale. So I'm going to read it through once, and then I'll read it where you can repeat after me, and then that will be the end of this service. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do this something that I can do. So, repeat after me. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but still, I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Let me repeat that. I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Okay, so that is the end of our service. I will put out this light, but it will go with us wherever we go this week. Thank you for stopping by, and I wish you peace in your life, and in your heart, and in your mind. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye for now.